Okay.
Interlocking.
Interlocking. All right. So, here's the deal about interlocking. I'm going to get over here right now. Okay. You can use a bunch of different things to interlock. Which, let's see. Okay. Anyway, right now, this is what I have. You have a lot of different things that you can use to interlock. But, this is what I use. I use this little guy. He's a bigger version of the other one that we had. Okay? He's just a bigger guy.
Okay.
There's all kinds of them. Okay, so when you interlock where people fuck up or screw up, bleep it out. Okay, this is where they mess up. They're like, oh, I can do this myself. Right? Well, guess what? You're about to screw up unless you know what you're doing for real. You're going to go through. Make sure that latch is all the way out too. And then, you want to see this? Because you probably need to know too. You're going to go through and you're going to take the end of the dreadlock, put it in that. So it's like this, and you're going to pull it through. Okay?
I've already been knowing about that.
Like
I've
so.
been doing that since I was a kid.
Like so.
There's a couple of mine today.
Hey,
Yeah.
You gotta remember too that mostly kids watch YouTube, so if you make it where
Oh,
you're
I've
cussing
been-
and stuff.
Yeah.
See, now you got a voiceover.
Yeah, I know. I put on there no kids. So far, I've put no kids.
Why?
Because I don't.
They're the
Because.
biggest watchers.
I put no kids. Okay, it's Generation X. Okay, so now here's the thing. I've went through one direction, right? You always want to go. You want to pull your last one that you pull through. You want to go where you want to end up. Does that make sense? Like, I'm not going to interlock with her hair coming up this way and me end here.
What? Be a good look.
You know what I'm saying? So, I've done this way. Now,
Okay.
because of how much root we have, how much regrowth here we have, all right? You have to be careful, especially with Caucasian hair, straight hair, how thin her hair strands are. You have to be careful because if you go too tight, you can break the hair. The hair will break.
No bueno.
Okay? When she wants to throw her hair up. If it's too tight, don't put your hair up. Give it a week or two. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That's why a lot of
my scalp. I learned that.
yeah, a lot of people like hate their locticians when they leave because we do. We try to make it tight for you, but we also tell you if it's too tight, don't do it. Do not do it. Just leave it alone for a while. That just means your hair needs a minute, okay? So now we're going to go through a different area. You don't want to go through the same hole twice, and I'm going to show you why. All right, so now we're going to go through this. Now, I know I'm only going to go through her hair 2 times because I don't want to go any tighter than that,
Okay. Gives a little bit of room.
Yeah, she needs room, okay? Now, every time she comes here, I'm not going to interlock her hair. All right? We want her hair to do what it needs to do on its own.
Okay.
All right? So, I'm only going to do her hair. I'm only going to do her hair those 2 times, okay? Now, there might be times where I might do one time, and there might be some that I do 3 times. It really just depends. Like on the side of the head, especially, that's a more delicate side. That's where you're moving your hair a lot. You know, sometimes I won't even do these at all.
Okay.
Okay? I mean, you don't want to. You want your client to be happy. And they might not like that look right away, but guess what? It's going to not be stiff. Right now it's stiff, but it's going to...
I like it.
Yeah, it's going to
Like
relax.
it is.
Yeah,
You go
because
up
she's going to
and it
want to
looks
pull
good,
that
yeah.
up. So we're going to leave that go. Okay, so we did the blended ends. I've explained why we're not going to do this one. I showed you interlocking. I showed, and this is frayed ends. Now, they're frayed ends. You get some girls, they're like, oh, I like the frayed ends. And then they'll go home. They'll be like, oh, my ends are just going crazy. Like, I don't know what to do. And then they think that they need blended ends, you know? And they can't make a decision. It's kind of like, do I want my hair curly or do I want it straight? Do I want to be red or do I want to be purple? You know? But this is the good thing about your ends. A client can go home and they can take this and slowly pick it out with a crochet hook if they wanted to. Okay? They can do that. They can slowly pick it out to make it frayed again.
Okay.
Which also elongates your dreadlocks. So if your dreadlocks over time are starting to want to do this on their own, which they do sometimes. And you're just like, God, my dreads just don't look, elegant anymore. What am I going to do? Right? And we're just like, we're getting bored and we don't have no hair color and we have no extensions. So we got to find something to do, right? I got to do something. So that is,
shave your head?
yeah. So that is where you can literally gently just comb these out slowly and then you can have your frayed ends again and then you can have long dreads again. Okay. So, going through, let's also let me talk about parting real fast. Let's see.
Parting.
Okay, parting. Here's the deal about parting. So I need to ask you, while we're asking you, are you going to throw your hair up in pigtails a lot or no?
Pigtails?
Yeah, pigtails.
No, ma'am. I'm almost 40.
Okay, just checking. You never know. You never know. You might have a gothic moment or schoolgirl moment, whatever. You know how that goes. Anyway, so if they want to do that, then you want to ask them, do you want your parts in the back to be straight for those pigtails or can they be,
Jiggity,
dreadlockish, Because if that's the case, then you have to do that differently. So in this case, she's like, no, I don't live like that anymore.
I'm old.
So
I do put it in 2 braids sometimes. But
Yeah.
they come together in like one bun at my neck. So
I gotcha. I
it'll be
gotcha.
fun.
Okay. So we just, you just want to ask. So here's the deal about parting. Whenever you part someone's hair, you want to bricklay it. She's had these in for a little while. So we're going to, straighten those up too. So here's a block. That line needs to be somewhere in this vicinity of this dreadlock. This one needs to be, even if it's not dead set in the middle, okay? As long as those lines don't match up like that,
Okay.
as long as they don't do that, you're fine, okay? Because she's had these in, or, it's just, it is what it is.
I threw her parting off.
No. So it doesn't matter as long as, see, I can put that like that, okay? Because I want her dread, or I can make it like this. It really depends on the thickness of
Okay.
what her
That's
hair
kind of what
is.
I was going to ask you. Is like, what made
Yeah.
you decide to go that length with her hair? Is it because of wanting that thickness for
Yeah.
the dread?
Yeah, and
How big do they want the dread?
yeah,
Because, you see some girls have this size dread, but then they'll also have a few thrown in there that are this big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the really big, pretty wooden beads on them, and it looks pretty
Yeah.
good to do that.
So here's the thing. If she wanted these big, giant, Bob Marley dreadlocks, okay? That's just a perfect example. I love him. Then obviously the base of her square parting would have to be way bigger than
Okay.
this,
Gotcha.
because it has to not only produce a dreadlock that big, but it also has to support it, the weight of it. So here's the thing. Now, the whole supporting thing. Now, you get a lot of these girls, which I'm one myself, but we can't go by what I do, okay? Because you just can't. So, you get a lot of these girls that will go home and they'll have all these like synthetic dreadlocks and, wraps and, this, that, and the other. And so they put one on there. And then they'll put one over here. And then they're like, well, that doesn't look good back here. So we're just going to put another one on here. And then they're like, you know what? I really like that in the front. Let's do another one. So they'll have like 3 of something on this. Okay. Now look, here's the scoop. Here's the scoop. And then they call you and they're like, oh, I don't know what's going on with my dread. Like, I'm getting a bald spot. Like, what am I supposed to do? What's going on? Okay, well, now, let's be clear about it. I don't know about you, but I don't take my shit out. I leave my stuff in because I just don't want to mess with it. Hence having dreadlocks. We don't want to mess with our hair, right? We just want it done and be done and finished. So, a lot of times they will leave them in and get lazy and like me, myself, because I do too, and they will, see, I'm not going to use a latch hook for this, but I'm just going to show you. So, they leave it in too long and they'll have way too much weight on one dreadlock. And you have to realize that your hair in that section and the thickness of your hair is the way it is supposed to be. And it is only there to hold that amount for that dreadlock, period. Like your hair is built and you were made a certain way in the womb. So your hair can only withstand a certain amount. Because, I mean, it's like putting a bowling ball on a strand of hair. It's going to break, it will. So therefore your scalp will hurt because you're wanting to put your hair up and all these things, and you will go bald. You will get a bald spot. And now you're screwed. And now you have to wait for that to grow. And so it is not your loctician's fault. I've seen it happen, and I have told, there's only one, actually. There's only one that I've actually told, like, girl, like, you're doing too much, honey. Like, we gotta get it out. You can't know. Like, And so, you just have to let them know, like, there's only so much. And if they really like something there, then you can be like, look, we can make you a baby dread or something, or a baby hair wrap, or let's just decorate the one that you have, something. And you usually see this happen right here. Mm-hmm. Right here or right here in the corners. Why? Because that's when you're pulling your hair up in a ponytail or back here or whatever. Wherever you move your hair the most and it pulls on your scalp, that is where you have to be delicate.
Everything she's saying, I'm like, have I screwed mine up? Are you okay? Do I need to take these beads out?
You have to just be delicate. Now, I like, personally, the natural look. Okay, the natural dreadlock look. That is what I go for. That is what I do. That is what I'm good at. Whether it's synthetic or real or whatever. I want somebody to walk out and I want them to walk somewhere else and somebody be like, holy crap, I bet that girl has been growing her dreads for about 15 years. Because let me tell you, with the length that some of these people get of virgin hair that I'm doing, I'm not talking about synthetic ones, you know what I mean? Some people have to wait. They have to wait anywhere between 5 to 20 years, depending on how long I make their stuff. And it's very stressful, and it's very, like, I can't live that long. I don't have that much time, okay? So that's where some of these people, you do have people that are like, just grow your own, blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, I have been given the God-given gift of talent, of helping someone go down a dreadlock journey that doesn't have time in their life to grow it. And they've always wanted to. And I feel like everyone should go through it.
Some of us genetically can't grow our hair that long.
And some people can't.
I can't.
And that's another whole thing.
My hair gets to a certain point and then stops. So
Yeah.
Actually, the length my hair was before I cut it off as long as it's ever been.
Yeah.
And that took about 4 years, so.
So here's the deal about thin hair and wanting thick hair and all of that. Now, I'm sure you guys have seen videos on how much hair you lose and all this stuff. Okay, so with dreadlocks, you naturally lose anywhere between 200 to hell, I don't know. It depends on how bad you are with your head, but it is proven that you lose somewhere around 200 hair strands a day, if not more. Okay? A day, naturally. That's in your car, in your sheets, on your comb, on your brush. Hell, sticking to your curling iron that you done singed off. Okay? This is just naturally what our bodies do. So, when you get dreadlocks, guess what? The shedding stops. It is no longer. I mean, you might get one or two, maybe like where your bangs are or whatever. But the hair it has found itself a home, and it has built its home and its box on the street or whatever. They says, leave me alone. I know where I live. This is my mansion. This is my castle. I'm not going anywhere. So guess what? Well, we've done paid our mortgage off. So these hairs are not going nowhere. So over time, not only does your hair seem thicker, but it is stuck in that dreadlock, and those hairs that would normally shed can't. So your hair looks thicker and will be thicker. And as these baby hairs grow, they're following the map of the dreadlock. They will continue to do that and continue and continue and continue. And then the next thing you know, you had thin hair one time, and guess what? You are bitching because your fucking hair is too damn thick and it's too heavy, and now you don't know what to do about it. So, we can't always have what we want, but sometimes we do. You want straight hair, then they want curly hair. You want curly hair, I mean, there's no meeting in the middle. It is or it's not. So, thin hair. When somebody wants dreadlocks with super, super, super duper thin hair, I have told people no before. Especially guys that are going balding on the top. Obviously, I'm sorry, it sucks. You can't. It sucks. But, I mean, it really does. So, but for women, I will tell them, if your hair can withstand a full set of synthetic dreadlocks for 3 or 4 months, and you not have no issues with it, and your hair can hold that, I will do real dreadlocks. If not, you tried, and it's not going to happen. Because I would hate to do something to someone, and then it's not going to work out. With people with super fine hair, you have to add hair to it. I mean, you just have to. With people that have so fine hair, when you're making a nest, when you're backcombing it, I mean, there's no hair. Because I've done this, so now it's like, there's nothing to do. It's just there's not even anything to pull out, to start anything. So I literally have to like start right here, and it's a process. I've done it. And you know what? I was very surprised because the sucker stayed. I was amazed, for real. I figured she was going to have issues like big time, but she didn't. And she still has them. And the best thing about it is putting a smile on someone's face. That's the best part. Because they've never had that. Like, they've never had thick hair, like, ever. Like, could you imagine? Like, and usually you get a feel for people if dreadlocks are for them, you know what I mean? Like, you just get a feel for it. Because you really don't want to put dreadlocks in someone's hair that's going to come murder you the next day. Because they want it, they thought they wanted it, and like now they don't, and you kind of get. I think all opticians will agree with me on that one.
It's not the same as getting a bad perm. It's not going to grow out.
Yeah, like
it's like committing to a tattoo, except you can't just go get it covered up.
Right,
right. Like,
yeah, you're screwed.
You're gonna be bald.
And this is why I made that video. I mean, do you see this? Do you see this? Okay, if she comes to me tomorrow and says, "Can you brush these out for me?" I'm gonna look at her and be like, "I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry. I can't deal. I just will not do it." Like, but that's because I talk to these girls, and you get a feel for the ones that need the synthetic ones first. Because they've never even experienced anything. Not braids, not nothing. I mean, like, it's just, you get a feel for it. Because, and some people are like, oh, I want my hair to look like Sacco's. Well, Sacco has synthetic ones. He does not have real ones yet. So a lot of these guys, like the one that we were talking about earlier, I did his. He wanted real ones at first. I said, well, Saccos are synthetic. Because people don't know. They can't tell. And that's good. I don't want them to know. It's between me and you. No, but they know. But you don't know. But the thing is about what I've noticed is a lot of these young people, it isn't the young people that come to get dreads. Or it isn't. It's our age. It's the Generation X age. It's the anywhere between 30 and 45-ish.
The ones who didn't get to do it when we were young.
Mm-hmm.
Or weren't allowed to.
Because
they had scary parents like mine.
Mm-hmm. And it's so cool because, like, I've had women come in here and, like, they've, like, divorced their husbands, or they're retired, or they just they're going through something and they just don't care. And so I love them ones. And so they're just like, fuck everything. I'm doing this, And it's because they're in their 40s or 50s. They've done everything there is to do. And this is the last thing. And they've always been so passionate about it. And when they find a loctician, which we are not easy to find, when they find one that knows what they're doing, oh girl, I've had people drive hours. And other locticians too. I mean, we're all over. I've been talking to a ton of locticians now that Instagram and social media is a thing. That didn't used to be. Mm-hmm. You used to be like, oh, they go to hippie festivals. They should know what they're doing. Yeah, well,
that's something they do on the West Coast.
That's something that, they gotta know what it is. They gotta know.
That's something that swing states partake in.
They gotta know what they're doing. But, like I went to hair school and I graduated and I worked in salons and all of that. But let me just let you in on a little secret. That does help when you know, like, how to pull and what direction to go. Like, they tell you stuff. But, and then I pull your hair, like, and then, but here's the thing. It's good to have that underneath your belt because you know the proper words to say. And you know how to talk to a client and things like that. A consultation is everything. You can't just, like, get somebody in your chair and, like, be like, all right, let's just knock your whole head up, like, no. Let's just not do that, like, you gotta know really you gotta let them know, and they need to let you know what it is that they want, how thick they want it, what kind of lifestyle they got, if they're around a lot of kids, prevention, just where they want to be in 10, 20, 30 years, how long they plan on keeping them. Like, there's so freaking much to ask. Okay, so now I haven't been using the other thing, but I'm gonna show you how to pull like a long strand in one of these other ones. Because her hair is already in a dreadlock. So once I finish this one, I will. Those latch hooks, you definitely want one. You want one. You guys are all gonna want one. Okay.
I have a crochet hook. I use that to put beads on.
Yeah.
I didn't know I could use it for my hair until now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will be having to buy one.
Yeah. You can get them at Kim's. Those little wooden ones that I'm going to show you. They're really... Now, those big, thick ones for the big beads, like big, giant beads, the thick ones, those are good to have because, as long as you can pull your hair through the bead, you're fine, That's another thing. Beads. So right here, I'm just gonna have you like video, like here, let me turn so you can get some light. Okay. Let's see. So all this was an extension, right? So we're just gonna, we're gonna get it all in there. We're just gonna turn. Pull it through. Okay. The more messier the hair, the better. This is what we like. See, there's so many different ways to do dreads. Like, everyone's got their own little technique. And here's the scoop. I don't do every dreadlock the same. I don't. I just don't. It's like I might come up here, and it might be just like the position, that my hand is in, or if I've stabbed my finger or something, and you don't know, or
somebody could have a weird cowlick growing back there too.
Yeah, like there's just a lot. Now, as I do this, you always want to make sure the root is not getting out of control. You want to make sure her root is going to be, like, smooth. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Like, you don't want anything like, you want to kind of... But some people get super, super close to the root. And I do that when I interlock it. It's very uncomfortable for the client when you use that daggone. I don't even like using the damn crochet hook on myself. Not by my root. I won't do it. I will refuse. My hair is delicate. It's one thing when you're putting dreadlocks in, and it's another thing when you're doing maintenance. If you're constantly doing your maintenance, you need to stop, especially with a crochet hook. Okay? Palm rolling and stuff like that, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about with tools. You need to just let your hair naturally do its thing. Some people get too just OCD about it. See?
God
See
help
those
me.
little, yeah. Yeah, you can't be doing that. Okay, so like fuzz, you know? Right there, we're just pulling it through. And then we're going to take some hair. Like, I'm trying to like just kind of show you, like, you know, just because you pull it through once, if it comes through like that, then the next time you pull some other hair, you know, grab that and pull it too. You see what I'm saying? You're kind of just, you're making a web. You're making a web inside, but I want to show you just so you can kind of see how that keeps catching, you know? See how that web just kind of keeps going and it keeps, it's like dominoes. That's like the best way to explain it. See how that does that? Okay. Well, of course, I'm going to crochet all that. But do you see how that does that?
Yeah.
So when you're doing maintenance on someone and they're really, really, you know, fuzzy. When they're fuzzy, like that's where people think that they have to come in here and like do this all the way down, which don't get it twisted. Like you're going to have to do some of that. You know what I mean? But that fuzz right there is going to be
What helps?
that's going to be what helps, especially for matured locks, you know, and things like that. Like with her right now, I still got to crochet to make it nice and tight in there. But that's what I mean about that. So when people come in and they got a lot of fuzz going on, you just do that. And when it gets to the point where you just don't have no hair no more, you take that hair, wrap it around, and pull it into the dread and do a little dance in there. You're going to make, you know, you want to do the twist and you want to do the turn and the boogie, you know. That way, that hair is stuck in there, locked in. You know what I'm saying? So we go down, And this is exactly what I'm going to be doing on you.
Okay.
This is what I'm doing to her. So,
This is actually the first one I've seen, like, all the videos I've been watching. They had, like, when they put the extension, it's already a dreadlock.
yeah.
And they attach it. So seeing you just do the straight hair
Yeah.
into the attachment and then dreading that
Yeah.
I haven't seen.
So, you see how, remember how thick she was?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here's another technique. So, when you're just like, man, like, it's so just, what do I do now? You know, I've done this and I've done this. I've done all the things I could think of. So, here's another way to tighten these dreads up. People don't think. Go in and pull. Go inside of the dread and pull. Don't rip, but just pull until you can't pull no more. Go in, and you can feel. Go inside, pull. You don't want to rip it. You just want to pull it tight. Because we've went this way.
Right.
Now we want to go in and, you know, we want to do that. And man, that sucker, look, it ain't going nowhere. Don't come to me tomorrow and say you want your shit down. You hear me? I ain't going to do it.
I'm going to. I'm going to do it just to mess with
I
her.
ain't going to do it.
I'm going to cry and everything.
This is not what I expected.
Yeah, this is what I mean. Okay.
I think she knows better.
Yeah.